This is Too Raw for TV. So, um, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver just gave Kyrie Irving the biggest assist when it pertains to him possibly becoming a full-time player for the Brooklyn Nets once again. So, if you're not uh, privy to this, Adam Silver questions the rationale and the logic of the New York City elixir mandate, points out, quote, oddity of it only affecting home players. Now, if you listen to Too Raw for TV yesterday, and if you listen to Too Raw for TV and many others on here in the LDBC, we have said that one of the things that doesn't make sense is why is it that home players are prohibited from playing for these teams in New York, but a person who has not taken the elixir is able to come to New York and play. It makes no sense. Either you're going to ban all non-elixir taking players, right? Or get rid of the whole thing. So Adam Silver voiced that concern. Um, trying to make sure I quote him correctly. Let's see what he said. Um, he said that mandate, which has prevented Nets guard Kyrie Irving, who is not taking the elixir against the Shaolin curse, that mandate that prevents him from playing any home games in Brooklyn this season, quote, doesn't make sense to him. Under the current ordinance, a player on an away team that has not taken the elixir is still eligible to play at Barclays Center and or Madison Square Garden. This law in New York, the oddity to me is that it only applies to home players. If ultimately the rule is about protecting people in the arena, it just doesn't make sense to me that an away player who has not taken the elixir can play at Barclays, but the home player can't. To me, that's the reason they should take a look into that ordinance. And he goes on to mention how he has no authority in this issue. He's not a member of government. He can't affect that, but he's from New York. He lives in New York, and he's saying that you can feel that there's some things changing. That New York is ready to move on from uh, this environment that we've been in the last couple of years. Locally, you've seen them drop mask requirements, and that there's a feeling that a lot of New Yorkers are ready to move on. We're just gonna have to live with this thing, right? So the new mayor may pick up on this, and ultimately, um, he feels that the mayor may eventually scrap the ordinance altogether. It's that feeling that a lot of New Yorkers have right now. And there may be increased pressure on the new mayor. I think his name is Eric Adams to do that. This is what Silver said. Being here in the New York market, particularly in the last week, many of the masking restrictions are being lifted. You can just feel it in the city. There are more people in restaurants, more people out and about. While it's my personal view that people should take the elixir, I can imagine a scenario where Brooklyn is part of New York City with a new mayor now. I could see him deciding to change along the way and say it's no longer necessary to have a mandatory requirement to take the elixir. Now, this is a big, big uh, positive boost for Kyrie Irving because you have a man of his stature, uh, Adam Silver, voicing his concern about this. And not to mention the fact that there's a monetary reason to have Kyrie Irving come back and play home games. I mean, of course, that's going to boost attendance. That's going to boost sales. That's something that's in the best interest of not only Adam Silver, but also the New York area. And, a lot of people are rooting for Kyrie. A lot of people, I would say 60 to 65% of the people in this country, I think, are on Kyrie's side. And yeah, ultimately, the commissioner wants to see, how can I say this? You want competitive fairness. You want competitive balance and you want fairness. You don't want to see a scenario where a team wins a title and there's still this cloud above them. Well, they only won because our guy's hindered by a stupid rule. They don't want to see something like that either. Even though that's, you know, the ordinance has good intentions, but it's flawed. It's very flawed, and it should be scrapped. So that's all I got to say, man. Tell me what you guys think.